Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Spell Archives. Today we're going to be talking about a fairly simple spell that actually has some pretty incredible uses. And that spell is right here. This is Explosive Detonator. And Explosive Detonator does something very different from what it says it does. So if you read it out, all nearby explosive spellcast will instantly detonate. That is true. It will do that. But it will also do something else that is very interesting. So I'll go ahead and show off its base function. Here's an explosive box, which normally doesn't go away. But if I cast this wand, you can see it'll explode for its full damage, which is nice. Fun fact, these things will actually only deal full damage if you use Explosive Detonator or explode them with fire. They won't deal full damage with other stuff. But anyways, that's not the important part. We'll go ahead and take this for some explosion immunity here, and let's carry on into this level. So this is normally a very scary level, right? You're getting shot at like crazy. If I hold down this button, these guys just cannot shoot me. There's nothing they can do. Their bullets are being removed, and the reason behind that is because this doesn't just explode explosive spells. This destroys all projectiles. And you can see I've got a version of this which is firing the explosive detonator every other frame, and this one is firing it every frame. And the reason we want to fire it every other frame is because it'll start to get kind of finicky, and it can even destroy itself essentially. So if you were to fire it every single frame, there's a chance that it wouldn't be as consistent. So if I swap over to this, you can see that they are getting a couple shots off. So I do need to be careful with that. And you can do this on reaction too. It's obviously like a lot harder to do that way, but it can be done. So this spell just has so much potential. Like there's so many crazy things you can do with it. And it's just the sort of thing that you'd skip over most of the time just looking at it. It's like, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. But it is like a crazy powerful defensive spell. You could use it with a teleport wand to go really fast. You could use it with like a potential like healing combo wand or something along that line, just to keep yourself safe. I've even got it on this wand here with in combination with Bloodlust. You can see that all of these things are going to be explosively detonated after the spark bolt trigger goes off. And I'll go ahead and show off this wand. So the idea behind it is when it hits its target, it's going to essentially destroy all of the spark bolts, so that way they can't deal damage to me, because they've got Bloodlust on them. And even if they do hit me, so like I'll show you. You know, it might be a little bit tricky to do here, but basically there you go. Those shots hit me for sure. As long as it is before a single frame is up when these are destroyed by the explosive detonator, the bloodlusted spark bolts will not even do damage to you. Anything that's under the effect of bloodlust can't do damage to you on the first frame. So as long as you have explosive detonator to remove it, you can avoid the damage entirely. I would recommend using Nala over explosive detonator in most cases, but you could get creative and use explosive detonator in this instance, so that way other enemies don't have shots as well. Just an interesting thing to keep in mind. And yeah, so that's quite a few of the different interesting effects of explosive detonator. And note that it's a static projectile, so it cannot appear on wands. You can only find it in shops or in treasure chests, okay? Very important point to make. And other than that, there's like a couple of interesting interactions with bosses that I'm gonna show off. So let's go and do that next. All right, so I just used cheat menu by Everfades to teleport up here, so that way I can fight the boss that's over here. And normally this boss is a huge threat because they can shoot just a million shots at you. Note that at point blank range, bad stuff can still definitely happen to you when you're using this setup, and explosives will still explode right away. So you can see that I am like getting rid of all of his shots repeatedly. We do a little bit of baseline damage here, but this boss is actually mostly resistance and not too much health. You can see he's taking some fairly acceptable damage actually, and yeah, he's just not really able to do anything to me. Alright, while this boss kill is going, I thought this would be a really good moment to insert an important little detail. You'll see some spells pop up on screen here. All of these spells, when fired with detonate spells, will cause a glitch that makes it so detonate spells does not function. Note that this is only applicable when the player is firing the spell, so if an enemy is firing one of these spells, detonate spell still functions. So if you're applying increased lifetime to a detonate spell of any kind, or if you apply any of the modifiers that you're seeing, that will cause it to no longer fire. The detonate spells will not work, and the spell will fire normally, and it will not delete any projectiles. That is really important. On top of that, if you add explosive projectile to any one of these spells, then you can use that to actually solve the problem. So if you wanted to use one of these spells for like a single frame wand alongside detonate spells, you could do so if you add explosive projectile. But anyways, back to the live action. Here we go. Alright, and that is a very easy Savagen kill right there. Beautiful. That's what you want to see. Alright, so for the next boss we're going to be fighting, we will be going after the Alchemist boss. Now, the Alchemist has a really annoying shield, and it's super difficult to deal with sometimes. We'll see if I can get him to activate it. There it is. So if I use this, I can actually deactivate his shield. Now, the boss doesn't take slice damage, so what I've done to counteract that is I've put a drill bolt on this wand, and that's going to be what deals the bulk of the damage to him. But as you can see, I can just completely shred him. Keep in mind, all those little missiles that he fired, that is very dangerous to the player. I would recommend having an explosive corpses, or simply using this to nullify his spells entirely and fighting it from a distance. But yeah, as you can see, we just turned that boss into meat. Very easy. Yeah, this combo is just absolutely insane. And yeah, it just makes for like a solid digging combo. It's great for all sorts of different stuff. And I'm actually going to show off one more trick here. We're going to take the explosive projectile off of this wand. So now this is a very dangerous wand. If any of these hit me, I am going to get horribly murdered. And now I will go and give this wand to an enemy. And I'll show you just how effective it is at dealing with enemies with wands as well. And yeah, these guys just killed themselves. It's quite amusing. There's wizards all over the place. And normally that would be a huge problem. But obviously, in this instance, it's relatively safe. So you can see this wand is terrifying. And it does still deal damage to me if I get close enough. But you can see that the range is absolutely neutered. So yeah, there it did bring me down to 1 HP. And I cannot die with the Spell Labs mod on. Unless I'm polymorphed, of course. But yeah, you can see that this is an incredible defensive tool, one of the best in the game, I would say. And you know, it's just a spell that gets completely overlooked. Explosive Detonator is incredible. It's got a great many uses, and I would highly recommend you go and play around with it. These are just some of the more obscure uses that I've found, and I wanted to share with you all. If I missed anything, feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you use Explosive Detonator for. And yeah, thank you. Consider liking the video if this was helpful. And you know, all that sort of jazz. Subscribe if you want. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And I'm gonna go stream now. All right, see ya.